Hello and welcome to a new episode of the Yarnflakes Podcast. My name is Audrey and this is a nitty yarny podcast from the southwest of France. Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me for this new episode. I hope you're all doing very well. I am coming with a few things to share. I have quite a bunch of little things to show you and announce, quite varied. I have a pattern release, I have 2 works in progress, which you kind of know, so this is not like very interesting. I have some yarn to show, and I have some cross stitch. I want to share some cross stitch that I have been doing recently. So yes, let's get started. You can find timestamps to all the different sections of the podcast in the description down below. So if you want to skip anything, if you're not interested in any section, please feel free to look at that and jump ahead. You can also find links to everything that I talk about, as well as my social media and my patterns, knitting patterns that are up for sale on Ravelry, Payhip and Lovecrafts. Yay. So, little announcement first. It's SOCKTOBER. So, if you don't know, usually amongst knitters, October is like the occasion to restart our sock knitting mojo, either to prepare for the holidays or the winter, or just because it's cool. So I decided for the occasion to have a sale on my sock patterns. So I have quite a few sock designs that are available, and they're all 30% off for the duration of October, so until the end of the month. It's an automatic sale, you don't need a coupon code, and yeah, I will put the link to my sock bundle, so in the description you can find a link to the Ravelry bundle. The sale happens on Ravelry, and basically you will see there all of my sock patterns. And yeah, I have quite a few different ones. I have some colorwork socks, obviously. I have quite a lot of textured and lace socks, whether it's cables or lace, or even more simple textures like knit pearls and things like this. So yeah, I have quite varied taste in socks. So I think that shows in my designs, and you can see a bunch of different things there. See if there's anything you like, or if you've been eyeing one of my sock designs, this is the opportunity to get it at a lower price point if you need that at the moment. So yay, that's the first self promoting moment. The second one is that I released a new design, and it's a little bit of an improvised design that I put up on Ravelry and Payhip, and these are new colorwork fingerless mittens. So we went from having 35 degrees Celsius to 10. So I was like, I'm cold, and I kind of needed new mittens, fingerless mitts, because I like to wear them when I work, because if my hands get too cold, it slows me down when I'm knitting, so that's not convenient. But I only have one pair of fingerless mittens, the ones that I design, and if I only use them, well, they get a bit worn out too quickly, so I wanted to make new ones, and I decided I wanted to make full colorwork ones, and so these are the Melinoe mittens, which were born on a Sunday afternoon, and basically it took me 1.5 days to knit them. So I got them tested, and now here they are. So they're fingerless mitts, knitted with a sport/DK weight yarn. It starts here with a little bit of a garter rib cuff thingy. There's garter, there's corrugated ribbing, so we'll knit pearls basically with the contrast colors, and then you have the hand with the gusset for the thumb, and the things that I really like to put in all my mitten patterns is these lines. Basically, I really like to have a line of one color on both sides of the mitten, and in the center of the thumb because, well, first of all, I just think it looks neat. And also, if you're knitting them using the magic loop technique, which I don't recommend, I always say just try knitting your small circumference colorwork in the round, so on small circulars. Even if you usually don't like small circulars, yeah, just you should try at least because it benefits so much. But if you are using magic loop, my point is that if you're magic looping here on those sides, well, if you have a line of just one color, it sort of helps, because if you have any tension issues and one stitch is smaller, one stitch is looser, if it's just one line of one color in that spot where you're magic looping, it's not as much of an issue and it sort of hides it. Whereas if it was within the patterning, it can distort the edges of the look. Here the edges are just one line, so it's a little bit easier. So that's why I like to put that line also, because I think it looks cool. So yeah, you have the thumb gusset, and this is a gusset that's on like the side. It's not like the traditional Scandinavian type mittens where the thumb is more on the palm. I find that this is an easier shape. This is really a beginner friendly pattern. If you've never knit fingerless mitts or mittens, this is good. This is for you, because this shape is much easier. Basically you just increase here. You put those stitches on hold, and then you continue with your initial round until the end. And you finish the mitten with like a similar edging as you did for the cuff. And then to finish the thumb, you just take back the stitches here. You pick up a few stitches on the side here on the corner, just like you would for a sleeve on the top-down sweater. And you just finish it again with the same sort of thing. So it's a much simpler construction, I find, and you don't have to be careful on how you pick up the stitches for the thumb. So it's just so much easier. So this is really beginner friendly. And yeah, as far as the size goes, so like for most colorwork accessories, there is one size, so you have the measurements written with the pattern gauge. And if you want a different size, if you can tell that the size will not fit you, or you want to make them for a child, for example, you can adjust the size by changing the gauge. So the reason we do that is because it's not true for all patterns, but for a lot of designs, it's much easier to change the gauge rather than alter the design by adding or subtracting stitches. For example, here with this motif, if I made a smaller mitten by removing stitches, well then the head of the motif here, the head of my little horn goat, it would be squished. And if I made a bigger mitten with more stitches, well then the head will be, the proportions will not be the same, it will be a bit lost. And so with this particular motif, it was too hard to adjust it size-wise to keep the proportion. So this is why there is one stitch count, and then you change your gauge. So the pattern has the formula, it explains everything, so please just read the size instructions, because it does say exactly what you need to do to know what gauge you need to work on. So if you're a very math-prone person and you like to do things per the rule and right, you can follow that, the instructions that are on the size page. You find the gauge that you need, and then you get the right needle size to get that gauge. But if you're a lazy person like me, or just normal, you just start your mitten, you just start it with whatever needle size you think is working for you. You knit a little bit, and then you try it on, and then you adjust. Because really, if you're gonna make a swatch, it's not gonna be much smaller than an actual mitten. So, you know, you might as well just start your mitten, you try it on. If it's too small, you take bigger needles. If it's too big, you take smaller needles. That's it. It's as simple as that. And like every time that I make, especially colorwork patterns, I am so tempted to remove the needle size recommendation because people get really confused. It's perfectly normal if you use a different needle size. You're not doing anything wrong. The needle size recommendation is really the needle size that the designer used, that I used in this case. And we can knit very differently. And so really, changing the needle size is normal. Just ignore the needle size. Pick a sport or a decay weight yarn and try it. And just, you'll see how you have to take a more intuitive approach. But if you're not into that, there is very detailed information on how to adjust the size. This makes it a beginner-friendly pattern that you can actually, it can give you keys to be able to knit further, more complex, perhaps, patterns. It has all the information, basically. And like I said, it's a very basic shape. And yeah, the yarn that I used is Maison Corlaine, which is a French merino, merino from Arles, which is similar to the Rerum Natura's yarn, but it's a much plumper, softer yarn. I don't know what it is, but Maison Corlaine is a French indie dyer, and this quality that they have, the Corlaine yarn, it's just so soft and it puffs up to a whole completely different level, and it's like really the softest, nicest thing on the inside. It's like really, really nice and fluffy, really comfortable to wear. These are leftovers from my Jumir sweater, which was a colorwork sweater, a colorwork raglan that I released last year, I think. Yeah. And I used the leftover yarns to make these. So yeah. As far as the motif goes, I wanted something a bit geometric, so you have the simplicity of it with like the dots and everything, and it's really easy to follow because you always know where you are in the pattern, and it just really goes quickly and mindless. And then you have the fun little goat, horn goat head. This motif was on the page of one's cowl, and I just wanted to reuse it because I like it. It's sort of a modified reindeer drawing. I wanted to make it look more like a goat. And if you don't like goat, you can think it's a Hebridean sheep. You know, the devil shape, like the ones that have like big horns like this, and then the ones that are really scary, basically. Yeah, you can think that that's what it is if you don't like goats. And then you have, why would you not like goats? They're adorable. They're so derpy. It's ridiculous. Goats are like they're like a teenager alpaca. You know how alpacas, they always look so, I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it. Alpacas always look like they're high. They're always so, they have such a silly face all the time. They're always completely derpy high. Whereas goats, they're like derpy, edgy teenager mood. I like goats. They're funny. And yeah, the motif on the palm is this. Again, very simple, very meditative, and it just goes so quickly. And yeah, so these are Melinoe. Because when I was designing those, I was watching, there's this new game, Hades, where you're basically you're playing Zagreus, Hades' son, and you are trying to escape hell to go see your mommy. And basically just I was designing those, and I was watching this game, and I was like, it made me think of Hades' other children, including Melinoe, which is Persephone's daughter, and her father is Hades or Zeus or both, because they were one person. And it's like Greek mythology is a thing. But yeah, so basically Melinoe, which is as far as I understood the nightmare nymph. So it just, I found it was fitting. I don't know, I'm trying to find explanations, but you know, just how things are. I thought it was a cool name, and that's the thing, it makes zero sense, but then I couldn't stop picturing them as Melinoe mitts, so that's it. In any case, I hope you really like them. This looks like there's 2 thumbs, which is kind of funny. I hope you like them. And if you do, on Ravelry, they are 15% off with the code Melinoe for the release. So yeah, if you like them and you want to get them on Ravelry, there will be this discount. And on my PayHip store, so if you don't know, the patterns on my PayHip store, they're always at a lower price point than on Ravelry. So if you would like a pattern but you can't afford the Ravelry price, you can go there, and it's always about 20% less on PayHip. I did that so that people who are not in a place to afford pattern, they have the possibility to go there. And it also is a pay what works system. So there you can just get the lower price point if that's what you need. But if you want and can support me more, you can modify the price. In any case, this is where these mittens are available. And yeah, I hope you like them. Because I really do, and they're comfy. They're super quick to knit too, so that's always a plus. I'm going to move on to my works in progress, and my first work in progress is the textured cowl that I showed you on the previous episode. I believe I only showed you like the very beginning of it, and now it's almost finished. So this is a cowl that I'm designing. It's full of little cables. You have these big like medallion cables with fake eyelet cables here. You have this zigzaggy thing, which is a mistake. I charted it, and when I charted it, I did something wrong. But I actually prefer it that way than the way I intended to make them, so I guess that's it. These twisted cable with a pearl stitch. And then you have here on this side more classic cables as well. So yeah, I really like this side. So this is this cowl, and I'm almost done with it. I initially wanted to make a big one, but then I changed my mind because I thought we need a change. So I'm actually just gonna make it a 1 wrap cowl. Of course you can make it longer if you want, but I'm almost done. It's gonna be a Moebius cowl, so I'm gonna twist it and then I'm going to graft it. And yeah, I need to do like 3 more rows of the last repeat, and then I'm done. I'm gonna block it, and once it's dry I will graft it. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. The pattern is currently being test knitted, so I'm really eager to see what kind of yarn and colors my testers use. I am using Filcolana Arweta, which is a sock yarn 80/20 superwash merino nylon from Filcolana, which is a Danish brand, which I really like this yarn. It's super soft and it has an array of colors, which is lovely. It has a great definition, lovely drape, but not too much. Yeah, it's like a base. It's become my basic fingering weight merino sock yarn, and yeah, it's an affordable yarn too, so that's always good. And yeah, I don't have much to say about it. It doesn't look so good when it's not blocked, but yeah, this is the squirrel colorway, like my hair. By the way, I thought I would warn you. I would like give you a heads up so you can process the idea. In my next episode, I will most likely have a different hair color, because this looks good on the screen right now, because the screen makes everything look so much saturated, but it's really, it has faded a bit too much for my taste. which is good because I can move on to the next color. And I'm going back to some darker colors normally. So yeah, just process the idea. Next episode, weird hair again. So just get used to it. Yeah. I don't have anything else to say about this work in progress. And yeah, I'm gonna finish it, and that way I can move on to new fields. Another work in progress that I have advanced but still don't have much to say about is my Culm sweater, which is a pattern by Fiona Alice, which was published by Brooklyn Tweed, and it's this never-ending textured sweater which is so beautiful and quite an enjoyable process, I must say. I mean, it always is. I kind of like projects that take me so long, even though, I don't know, I do want them finished, but I still really like every stitch that I make. I hurt myself, I think you can see, and it's not looking so good. I think I'm having a problem. But yeah. I think last time I started a sleeve, so I finished it. My row gauge is a bit off, so that's why my decreases, they stop like a long way before the right measurement for the sleeve, but that's okay. I think it's gonna look okay, and with my arm shape, it's alright. I did want long sleeves for once. I'm always tempted to make them shorter, but this time I said, okay, make an effort and make them the right length. And I started the next one, and yeah, just making 1 or 2 rows here and there. This is how you finish the cuff, by the way, and as you can see, so this is moss stitch, and before the cuff I finished on a full motif, so I had 2 knit stitches and 2 purl stitches, and I should have stopped in between a motif repeat, because then you have the setup round for the cuff, and it sort of made these elongated bit here, which is looks like the moss stitch has a mistake. It doesn't bother me that much. I noticed it once I finished the cuff, and I was like, no way, no way I'm undoing that. So yeah, I started the other sleeves, and then I will have the neckline to knit. I'm a bit worried I might run out of yarn. I'm using Les Petites Potions, which is the French indie dyer sock yarn in almond grillée, so toasted almond colorway. Les Petites Potions, she speaks English a lot. Her website is available in English, so you can totally go for it. She's a lovely dyer. I've talked about her at length. But yeah, I haven't weighed it. I don't know how much that is, and I didn't weigh how much I used for the first sleeve, but I'm a bit worried, especially since then the neckline, it's not so small, and I don't want it small, because it's not gonna look right. So I don't know if I'm gonna have enough, but I hope I will. And then we have the most beautiful sweater, which will totally not go with my stupid hair colors. But it's fine. I absolutely love it, and I can't wait to finish it. But yeah, I haven't been able to knit on my personal project that much lately, because I've been fiddling and working on a bunch of different stuff that I can't tell you about, which is taking some time. So yeah, still making slow progress, but still progress on this one. And yeah, I just wanted to show you my next work in progress. When I finish the cowl, my next design is gonna be a design for making stories. So I'm very happy, because one of my designs is gonna be in, I think it's the issue that will be in fall 2021. Anyway, I'm making socks, making more like slippers actually with this motif. I have no clue how or why they selected this design, because let me tell you, I was torn, because I want to make house slippers, so like big cozy socks with no ease, like not a negative ease, but just 0 ease. So a bit more loose fitting socks, so to say. But I wanted this texture on it, and so I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if I should use a yarn with a very crisp definition to show the texture, or if I should try to transmit the mood of the cozy, fluffy socks that I imagine. So I used cowl for it, and it looks very pretty, but I've noticed something with my phone camera, is that it doesn't like these colors. Anything that's orange, rust, caramel, on video it's good, and you can see the motif pretty well here. It's nice and everything. But when I take the pictures, when I take pictures of swatches, I put them over a white piece of paper so that I have a white background. But then it completely messes up the thing, and it doesn't look neat, and it looks always a bit blurry, and you can't see anything really well. So it was a bit bad, my picture of the swatch, but they still chose it, so I guess that's fine. But yeah, so socks with this lovely texture on it, and we are using Woolen Twine, which is a brand that I've been wanting to work with for quite a while now. She's I forgot if she's Dutch or Danish, I'm sorry. But yeah, she's a natural, she dyes yarn naturally. She uses lovely yarns, and this is her Corriedale sock base, which is a rather plump and twisty Corriedale base. It's not like, I feel like it's different than By Night Dyes, which is the Belgian indie dyer. She recently has released a new yarn base, Nathalie, and she has this base in Corriedale, but I think it's finer. I touched it, she showed it to me in a swatch. I feel like it's finer and a bit more, it has a bit more fluff, and it's drapey. And I think it's a different base. It might just be how they wash it before sending it, but I don't know. I feel like it's different. I don't think it's the same base, because this looks a bit more plump, but this is absolutely lovely for socks. And yeah, I have to make this, but I really appreciate. We'll talk more about making stories in the spring, because I designed a shawl for their spring issue, and I don't think I showed it to you because I had the impression I couldn't, but actually it's okay from what I understood. So we'll talk a bit more about them, but I really appreciate the fact that they leave a lot of time to designers for both the sample and the pattern writing. From what I know, basically, because for their first few issues or books, it wasn't the case, but they seem to have like changed a lot. So I can only talk about the new version, and I really appreciate that. Like, I have until forever to write the pattern and send the sample, so that's really something that is reassuring for me, and it means that I don't hesitate to submit to them, because I know I'll have time, I know it'll be okay. Whereas sometimes I'm submitting and I have this stupid feeling like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to do it so quickly and everything. But yeah, I'm looking at my plant now. I tried to grow an avocado I tried to grow an avocado seed. I'm very bad with plants. Okay, let me grab it for you. I'm terrible with plants. I killed cactuses, okay? Yes, I killed a cactus. I can't take care of plants. But during the lockdown in March, when everyone was baking bread, and I didn't care because I already knew how to do it, because I'm French, I'm joking. I decided that my personal challenge was to try to grow something, because I'm terrible with plants. I feel like just looking at them, they die. And so I tried to take an avocado seed and grow it, and I asked for advice to a few people, including Fibertails, And for a long time I thought that I failed. And then look at this. I made it. I grew something. I'm so happy. It's going well. I can see every day that the leaves are getting bigger, and they're so green, even though it's been so dark and they're so green, and I grew something. So there's 2 in it. The other one is not doing so well, but it's moving. So I don't want to take it off because it is progressing, just very slowly compared to the other. See this one, this seed here. It's not moving much, but every time I look at it and I'm thinking I'm just gonna take it off because it's not growing, I notice that something has changed, so I can't take it off. But this one, look, it's doing so well. How nice. I grew something. It's so cool. But yeah, it didn't start very well, because at first when I put them in my pot, I noticed the roots were going up, and I was like, am I this bad that... I'm not talking about the stems, obviously, but like the roots that are now under the dirt, they were going up. And I was like, I'm making plants grow upside down. Why? But I moved them. I removed the dirt and everything, and I put them back in new dirt. And now the roots are going in the right direction. So like, but yeah, I did this. Look, so happy. Sorry, I was just too proud of it. And I just noticed that there are 2 bigger leaves again. It's just... Sorry. I'm really happy. If you have any tips, do you have any other really easy plant things that I could do? Like really, really big. Again, I killed cactuses, right? So is there any other stupidly easy thing that I could try plant-wise to sort of see if I can lift my curse? I think, yes, I wanted to show you. I have some patterns that have been published in a book. So, the book is from Melinoe, which is a French dyer. That's her. She published this book. So the book is only in French for now. But I just wanted to show you the designs that I have in it, which are 2 colorwork, I don't remember, 2 colorwork cardigans, raglan cardigans. These are it. So yeah, there's a adult, women's version and a child's version. So yeah, they're top-down raglan cardigans with colorwork at the on the body. They're steeked, and so yeah, I designed this like a year ago, and they're available in this book. So I know some French people also watch the English episode, or just watch the English episode. So yeah, just in case. But yeah, I'm really happy with these designs. I used Athena, which is her DK Athena DK, which is their superwash merino 100% DK way yarn, which is a very floppy type of merino. It's the really soft drapey one, which made really nice falling cardigans, and it's just sort of a thing to show that if you don't shy away from color work because you're sensitive and you don't want to use the woolly rustic yarns, it is possible to do it with the more soft and a bit more yeah, it's not floppy but yeah, it's just a very it's not a very structured bouncy merino, it's more of a drapey one. But yeah, we used that yarn for these designs, and they're in this book. And so it's a bit weird to share designs that I have. Like she contacted me a year ago exactly, So it's a bit weird to talk about them now because I want to change a lot of things about them. Not a lot, it's just small details, but yeah, it's a bit silly, including adding sizes and everything. And so I just feel like it's quite funny how it never ends and how you always want to change stuff. Yes, I just want to say, because I noticed some of you saw it over on Instagram and everything, either mine or the other designs, because there are a lot of really beautiful designs in this book. The designs will be exclusive to the book for a few months, but then obviously I will translate the patterns to English when they will be released with the possibly new sizes and improvements. But yeah, there are a lot of really, really nice designs. So if you want to see more of them, if you want to see different pictures like this, these ones on the covers are just like my favorite thing. I really like this cable. Slippery. But yeah, you can see a bunch of different pictures and more detailed pictures over on Lena Moret's Instagram if you're curious about this book. Which again is now only available in French. But if you discover some new designers, most of them have their patterns available in English as well. So maybe you're in the lookout for some new designers to follow, and there's 12 of them in there. And yeah, you can have a look at that if you're curious. I wanted to... what did I want to do? I wanted to show you some yarn because I got the October Whimsical Club from More View Yarn. So if you don't know, More View Yarn is an indie dyer. Difficult. Is an indie dyer from Wales. She naturally dyes yarn, and I really like what she does. And she, a few months ago, she installed a new thing, which was a yarn club, which was inspired by the local craftsmanship of Wales and everything. So she's offering yarn in there, which she dyes or not, it depends, and a handmade accessory. And so I decided to get the October one to treat myself, and I just received it, and look at this. It's so beautiful. It's Wensleydale. It's pure Wensleydale from Home, what's their name? Home Farm Wensleydales. And I really like Wensleydale. It's so shiny and lustrous and drapey. I really like it. And this one in particular is so soft. I'm really surprised. It's like really squishy and absolutely lovely. It's a natural shade, which I can't decide if it's brown or grey, but it's really pretty. And yeah, I just wanted to say I'm starting to see a little bit more Wensleydale here and then, and I'm really happy because I really like this this fiber, and but I don't know what to do with it. I already have other pure Wensleydale wool that I want to use for a lace stole. So I would like to make a garment with it. I have 800 meters, so I'm considering making like a loose cardigan thing, something that's a little bit knitted very loosely for the gauge. But yeah, if this inspires you anything, just yeah, I have 800 meter. It's quite fine fingering weight. Just let me know. Gathering some ideas here. But yeah, and speaking of natural woolly yarn, I ordered a skein of Zwartbles, our best friend, the Zwartbles. Gonna play Scrabble with it from John Arbon, obviously. And so this is the Exmoor Zwartbles. Basically, Why? Zwartbles. French is so difficult, your pronunciation is impossible. Zwartbles, really? And so, Zwartbles. Because this is pure Zwartbles. This is pure Z, the Z shape. And it's dark like this. And so basically the lighter versions, which are like medium grey and light grey, they're blended with some Exmoor Blueface, which has a lighter fleece. But I wanted a pure one. This is 4-ply and it's so soft as well. I'm really surprised. I had no idea how the Z shape would be. But it is quite soft. I find that it's like a soft Gotland for some reason. It's not as metallic as Gotland, but it has a bit of that luster. And it has that same halo and sort of drape and everything, but it's softer. So I just figure if you like the Gotland effect, but you can't stand it on your skin, I love it, but you know. The Z shape is really cool. I could wear that next to skin. Gotland, I mean on the neck. Gotland, not so much. As a sweater, I love it. It's like my favorite fiber. But I couldn't make a cowl or a shawl for me. But with this, definitely. So yeah, I just wanted to showcase this thing in case you're curious about this fiber, because I found it really interesting. And if you're wondering why on earth I'm buying one skein of the Z ship, I'm making stuff and you will see later. So yeah, that is it for the knitty yarny thing. I wanted to finish with some cross stitch because I have picked up my cross stitch again. Like I said, I've been working on quite a few things. I can't really knit on my personal project that much, but I'm knitting on a lot of different stuff and it's quite overwhelming. And so I'm trying to do something else with my hands that keep me occupied, but that's not knitting, to just freshen up a bit. So I've been cooking a lot and baking. Well, my family has notified me that I should stop making cakes because, well, there's not enough stomachs to take all of them. So, yeah, so I've also been working out and things, but I thought I should pick up my cross stitch again because I've been working on the same cross stitch for like 2 years, and it's this one. It's this black work pattern. Basically on a Etsy shop there's like 3 patterns in the same style, and I wanted to make a triptych with all 3 of them. And this is the first one, and I remember I finished the cross stitch bit quite quickly, but then there's all the line work, basically all the lining of the crosses and all the little details like the flowers here that you can see, that you use just one thread. And this is taking me forever. Yeah, I think it's been 2 years. But I decided I wanted to pick that up again, and I really enjoy doing it. And I'm not that far away from finishing it. Basically, like you can see, I started again from the center and going away. And since I've picked it up on over a few days, I've finished this outer square here. And I just have this. Well, it's a big space, but they're bigger motifs, so it might take me not so long. And I really wanted to complete it because I really like how it looks. And I've been really enjoying doing it. So I thought maybe the reason I'm putting this away for months and not working on it is because it's black. Of course, it's very elegant and I love it. But it's just not as engaging as using a bunch of different colors. So I ordered another cross stitch kit that I want to make, as I had on my Etsy favorites for a while. And it's a kit by MenonWool, and it's like this flowery motif. So I got the kit, and I really like buying kits for cross stitch because that way I don't have to fiddle buying the full skeins of the MC and everything. So yeah, I got the kit with the camera. I said I wanted to go away from black, and I picked something with a black background, but you know, This is a bit more stiff than this one, but I don't know if this is because it's so old now. But yeah, and all the different colors, so nice and cheerful and pretty. Yay. I also got the hoop because same thing, I was lazy to pick up a hoop that would be the right size. So yeah, there are so many beautiful patterns, cross-stitch patterns on Etsy. I feel like it's a bit in fashion. There are so many geometric, like colorful ones and flowery ones as well. Absolutely love them. I think like there's a style for everyone, and there's like so many different ones. It's lovely. But yeah, so this is a design that I really liked, and I want to make this. I think the way I'm gonna approach this is I'm gonna think, you finish the black one and then you get to play with the fun colors. I think if I have that incentive, it's gonna motivate me. Because I do really like the black one, but I'm just very slow at it. Hey. So yeah, cross stitch. I've also been painting, but that is taking me even longer and doing even less progress. I do paint by numbers. I can't paint for the life of me, but I love paint by numbers. I've always liked them as a kid. I think that's it. I think I've said everything for this episode. There was a lot of little different things. I will see you again very soon. So I'm recording this episode a week in advance, but then when you see this episode next week, there will be a new episode because I have stuff to show. And yeah, so I thank you very much for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed, even if it was a bit of it was like a bit of a floppy, sloppy episode. It's a floppy, sloppy mood. It's rainy. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely time, and I will see you next time. Bye!